quickly, I'm just going to give you a walkthrough of my 2016 setup of my Filofax bullet journal in my Finsbury. I got my Finsbury for Christmas. It's beautiful. It's in the new cherry red. I love it. My Luxe compact is also beautiful. I have nothing against it. It's just that it was a compact and it's not going to be big enough for a year's worth of stuff. I know how much I write. So I've moved into my Finsbury. I'm using my Luxe again as my doggy Filofax, where I keep all the information for my puppies. And this is going to be my sort of everyday carry bullet journal, notebook, wallet, everything except my journal basically. And I'm going to, well, I'll show you. I'll show you. So the Finsbury is this beautiful grained leather. It's not as hard as the Chameleon. The Chameleon is quite a hard, pebbly surface. This is much softer, but it's nowhere near as soft as a Malden. It's sort of in between, but it's nice. It feels nice. It's a good quality leather. It feels like it's going to be heavy duty. It's just plain, there's no additional anything on the outside, but it does have a nice long strap for those of you who have issues with as soon as you put something in the pockets, because you can see the pocket takes up quite a bit of room with what I've got in it. There was a lot of issues with the Metropole and the original with the length of the strap, but this has a nice long strap here, and that works fantastically. I normally keep my Parker Jotter, which is my favourite general purpose pen, in there because it fits beautifully. When you open it up, inside you've got 6 card slots on this side and a long pocket. This leather is quite stiff, but it's nowhere near as stiff as the Luxe. The Luxe is really, really hard. This is already stretching nicely, so periodically I just go in here and put my thumb in just to make sure that I can, you know, get in the pockets and everything. So in this side, because I'm a lefty, it's easier for me to open that way and then pull my cards out like this. I'm going to turn that one around. Actually, no, I'm going to take it out because it's my credit card. It's easier for me to work like that, so I like having my cards in the back. Was one of the things I loved about the Luxe was that it had the pockets here as well, and I kind of wish that the Finsbury was the same setup, that it had this on this side and perhaps had the zip on this side, but you know, I'm a lefty, I always want everything the wrong way around. The rings on it are nice and big. I think they are 27mm, I'm not 100% sure, but they fit a ton of stuff. They're not 30mm, they're not as big as a domino, but they do seem a little bit bigger than a lot of the ones that I've used before. In this pocket I just have this little, I think this is a Hobonichi insert actually. I think Tracy gave me this and I think she got it from the Hobonichi website. It's just one of those little secretarial pockets that I've got a few diary stickers that I use, my calendar tabs and my colour stickers that I use, and I put them inside there just to make it easier to get them in and out, because something I do find is that, again, it's not always easy to get your hand in that side if that's not natural. I usually try and do it that way and it's hard. But also I find I get my rings on my fingers stuck on the rings of my planner, and that can wreck your planner rings. So I like to just keep it in there and it's easy to slide in and out. My planner setup itself is exactly the same, so I'm going to zip through this really quickly. I've got my Robin Marie Smith art card on the front with a shopping list. This is just sticky notes. I've got my name and address. I've got a Ziploc wallet with my diary stickers and my Hobonichi stencils, which I use all the time for various things. This is what they look like. They're just very tiny little things. They're also handy because they've got serrated edges, so they're good for tearing off your washi tape and things like that. And they're nice and small and flat, so they fit in there beautifully. I've got my personal information page, which I haven't yet filled in, and I took this from a previous set, and these are actually pasted together so that I could have the pages that I wanted. So this has a personal information page on the front. On the back it has another personal information page in about 6 different languages. Instead, I've stuck it to the clothing size equivalents that I actually use, and then I took the 2 weights and measures pages and stuck those back to back as well. So I've got the relevant information from the actual Filofax inserts, but only the stuff that I use. It's fantastic. My little nerd glasses from Miss Vicky B are holding together my old planner pages. This is December, obviously we're in January now. I am using the 019 undated MTN Traveller's Notebook refills. I've cut them down to size. If you cut off 2 squares from the top, 3 squares from the inside and the Sunday, they fit exactly into a personal size. And all I do is I use that, I just break that in 2 so that I've got the date for Sunday, that's all, because I don't use it for Sundays particularly. But if I did have something on a Sunday, I'm sure I could just stick a sticky note on there and use that. I have my Shitajiki board. This is also from Hobonichi. This is for the A6. I also have an A5, but I use that in my A5 Hobonichi. This is not quite big enough lengthwise for a full personal page, but most people don't actually write all the way to the bottom of the page anyway. I know I certainly don't. And I generally use the top. There's a big gap at the top and I use that for my headers. So actually it doesn't bother me that there's a gap at the top and bottom. It sticks out very, very slightly, about 1/4 of an inch, 2 of these grid lines on the Shitajiki board. And it obviously has the today marker, so that actually fits really well. You can see as soon as you open it, there is your today marker. So I've got these calendar stickers. These are the calendar tabs, so I've got January, February, it's easy to flip to. This is my weekly, and I'm just about to spend today setting up February. I've already done January, but as you can see I'm only up to January, I haven't done February at all. I've just stuck the sticker on. Then I have, this is all the insert, I have my contents page for my collections. So I should probably mention this for my bullet journal, my daily bullet journaling. This is what I use because I don't like doing things per day. I find it very confusing. I can't move things around. So I like to have, you know, dates for things that I actually have to do stuff on, and then the rest of the week it tends to be just a list, and I highlight in red what is important and I just work through the list. Videos, live shows, important dates and appointments go on here. So my collections are literally, it's just a set of collections, but it's separate from my diary. This means that I can keep my collections together in my Filofax. I can move my diary section out if I want to, or use a different book or whatever, and still have my collections all together. And I can use my collections like a bullet journal, so I don't have to say, right, this is going to be my YouTube section and I'm going to put in 3 sheets for that, and then I run out of room and it all gets messy. I don't have to do that because I can just, you know, I've got YouTube videos, page 3, and when I run out of room on page 3, I can write another page and put the index number here and be able to find it easily. So that's my contents page. I've got a spare sheet in there for, I want to put in odd specific notes that special notes, stuff that I'm going to have to refer to regularly. And then I've just got my notes in here. Again, I showed all this in my original bullet journal. I'm still transferring things over from my old book from last year, but this is basically going to stop me having to keep rewriting stuff every year because, you know, things like my dog measurements don't change. The dogs don't change in size. They still have the same measurements. So what's the point in having it in last year's book and the year before's book, and now I've got to copy it again into this book. It's already on a piece of Filofax paper. In fact, I took this from my Filofax that I had originally when I first set up, when I came back to Filofax, and I just took it out and put it in here. Simple as that. Add it to the index and you're done. Rather than using colour coding or anything like that, on the pages, I'm simply using different coloured paper. I know what the coloured paper means. I use orange for my classes, purple for personal, blue for anything boring like admin or housework, pink for YouTube, yellow for really important stuff, and I have white grid and lined for everything else. I have a few odd pages of to-do notes and payment pages and www pages, because I've already got those set up in here, so I've got a few extras. Address section, and at the back I have this. These basically act as a lifter. This is my top opening wallet, which I've got my customs forms, my emergency white envelope and stamp, my business cards, and a receipt for something that I have to return, so it's basically stuff that I can't lose. Here I've got my ID cards and things, and I normally have my credit cards in here like that. I've got 3 of them, but they're not in here at the moment. And then at the back here I've just got, because this pocket really isn't any use to man or beast if I'm honest, I've just got some receipts that I need to file away. Because this pocket is not very big, it's good that I've got receipts in here, because eventually it'll get to the point where I can't put anything in it and I'll have to take it out and redo it regularly. And I've just got a couple of coupons in there for Starbucks so that I can go and get some free Starbucks. That's it. That is my setup for this year, she says, optimistically. It's my setup for this year. It's my setup I'm starting with in January. I would really like to keep this setup for the whole of the year. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but we'll see, shall we? Let's tune in on February and see how much it changes or doesn't. Now, I did mention journaling. I don't have anything in here for journaling. However, when I'm out and about, I do tend to journal or work in my planner. What I'm going to do is take a few sheets from... I've done this before, in fact. Take a few sheets from my very thin, lightweight paper Midori insert and pop it in here, just so that I've got something I can work on when I'm out and about, if I want to sketch or make notes or journal or whatever I want to do. And when I get home, it's very, very thin paper and I can just paste it into my big journal that I will be using again for the beginning of 2016. We'll see how it goes. So there you go. That's my setup. If you've done your own setup, do let me know. If you want to ask questions, ask them down below. My dog's having a moment. There we go. And yeah, subscribe, hit that button, and come back in February and see whether, and if so, how this has changed. Bye.